Coming up on Network Africa, Cameroon's 92-year-old President Paul Biya formally kicks off his bid for an 8th term in office. Residents in Bamako face severe fuel shortages weeks into a blockade of tankers by militants. And ahead of World Food Day, Lagos State government draws attention to the problem of food insecurity. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. I'm Joke Rogers here in Lagos. Cameroon's 92-year-old President Paul Biya is still in the running for the October 12 presidential election, his 8th time round. Mr. Biya believes people should vote for him because of his promises this time round, stepping up security, curbing youth unemployment and improving road infrastructure. He kicked off a rally at a stadium in the far north town of Marua, which accounts for nearly 20% of the country's 8.2 million eligible voters. And two of the 9 opposition candidates in the election, they are Mr. Biya's former allies, Bello Megari and Issa Chiroma, who command a strong followership in the far north. This outing marks Mr. Biya's first in a campaign from which he has been noticeably absent, having only recently returned from a week-long stay in Switzerland. No official reason has been given to explain his absence, but he has been known to travel to Europe for private stays and medical treatment in recent years.
Merci pour votre affection. Merci pour le soutien que vous n'avez cessé de me témoigner année après année.
Let's get more on the politics in Cameroon. And joining us now is National Secretary, African Affairs Analyst Achike Chude. He joins us from Abuja, the nation's capital. Achike, thanks for joining us on the program today.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you. It is a pleasure.
Right. So, I mean, President Biya has been the most absent African leader to date. But here he is at 92, campaigning to fix insecurity, curb youth unemployment, not minding that he has been the one in power over 40 years. And he has promised to fix the roads in the country as well. What is going through your mind as you read through his campaign promises for the 8th time?
Yeah, well, it's commitment to the Cameroon and to the Cameroonian people. It's a sacrifice that he wants to make. He's 92 years old, and then he should be somewhere retired, maybe taking care of his grandchildren or great-grandchildren, and he still feels that he needs to make this sacrifice for the people of Cameroon. In fact, he said something to the effect that his determination to run, to serve the people, matches the urgency of the challenges that the Cameroonian people face. So he's so determined because of the urgency of the situation that the Cameroonian people are facing. The conditions that he himself created in the past 40 years, he was not able to fix. Perhaps, he wants to prove the adage wrong that you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. Perhaps he feels that this old dog, talking about himself, is capable of new tricks. But you see, look, perhaps I'm just being cynical, and but it is sad, it is laughable, it's a tragedy of epic proportion. That at this part, look, the other day I saw some people. Of course, you always have people who will support him, and you'll be surprised that you also have intellectuals among them who actually see what is going on, understand the dynamics and all that. But because of personal gratification, one way or the other, the interest of the country is the last thing on their mind. The other day, I saw a lot of people who were campaigning on his behalf carrying his picture, to campaign because he was not obviously not able to make himself available to the people. And so if it has gotten to that point of ridicule and people are not ashamed and embarrassed about what they are doing to their own country, to millions of Cameroonians, it is absolutely, a certain obvious. Yes, he is one of the most absent, presidents in the continent of Africa, but that doesn't seem to matter because for people who are speculating about his illness or his possible ill health, they have made it very clear that anybody that talks about the health of the president is trying to compromise national security. And so if you talk about the president's health, that he has headache or he has a leg pain, that could fetch you some level of some amount of incarceration, days or the months in incarceration. So people should be aware that the president of Cameroon is very active. For 40 years, he was not able to build roads. He was not able to put infrastructure in place. At 92 years old, he suddenly has a prise de conscience. He has this new vision that at 92 years old, he's able to do what he was not able to do at 40.
Right.
And so obviously he's defying old age, and the demands of nature.
Right. If I can come in here, he's making promises to fix issues often highlighted by, the opposition. We would say that he's been in office since the 1980s. Should he be running at all? There are 12 other candidates, all men except for one woman, Tomeno Khamin, Patricia Ndamunjoya, the third woman to run in the country's presidential election. Paul Biya has won in every election since 1982. Do you think that could change on Sunday?
Yeah, I think the last time he won by about 72% of the vote. So there's also a possibility. Forgive me for trying to be cynical this time around. There's also a possibility that perhaps it's not just human beings that vote in Cameroon. Perhaps you also have people from the other world that also vote. We know that years back he had abolished the term limits that defines democracy, and then making it clear, open for him to run anytime he wants to run. And but it is sad, really. Like I said, he, under normal circumstances, should not be running. If he doesn't know it himself, then I think there is senility has set in. But you also have other people. You have people that are close to him. You have people that should have the courage to speak at a time such as this. Perhaps again, if he has become senile, I'm not exactly sure. I'm not a doctor. He might actually be deluded into believing that he's the best thing that has happened to Cameroon, and that without him, Cameroon collapses. You never know what goes on in the minds of such people, of people that are seen to be dictators. They sometimes, somewhere along the line, they feel that look, the well-being and the health of the country is dependent on their being in power. But again, you look at what goes on around people in Cameroon: insecurity, serious economic inequalities, unemployment, anger on the streets about the life of the people and the living conditions of the people, and yet there's only one man that can solve the problem of Cameroon, and that is 92-year-old Paul Biya.
But
it's a miracle.
Does this speak anything to you? The other day, his daughter was on the streets campaigning against her father. She was on social media advising people not to vote for her father. It probably speaks to some of the things that you alluded to, that people are not advising him not to run because, of whatever gains they might want. But if his own father is campaigning, his own daughter is campaigning against him, do you see a divide in the family, or is that something that we don't know that she knows?
It's a daughter's love for the father. I want to believe so, because it gets to a level, and then you can accuse his handlers, people around him, of elder abuse. It can happen, when they feel that it's the man who can hardly walk, who is most cases in hospitals outside of Cameroon because he was not able to build any meaningful hospital, within Cameroon. And so I think she has seen the ridicule that the father has to go through on social media, and she feels embarrassed and ashamed to be associated with the father's, ambition. And so this must be a loving daughter that says, look, my father does not belong in government. My father belongs in an old people's home, or belongs with his children, where he will have a lot of fatherly love, at least as he awaits the calling of his maker, the way of all men and women. And so I think that she has shown some level of respectability and brought some respectability to the Pobia name. If she can say no, that you people are abusing my father. Obviously, the father is not in control of what is going on. The people are leading him because they are using him perhaps for personal gratification in government. That has to be the reason why they are pushing him to run.
Right. Achike, thanks again. Pleasure talking to you.
It's always a pleasure, Joke. Thank you.
Elsewhere now, a severe fuel shortage in the Malian capital, Bamako, has forced residents to form long queues at petrol stations. It has also caused major disruptions for communities. The shortage is caused by JNIM militants who have relentlessly targeted fuel tankers coming from neighboring Senegal and Ivory Coast, plunging the landlocked West African nation into a deepening crisis. Analysts say the blockade poses huge risks for the fragile local economy and is a significant setback for Mali's military junta, which took power in 2021, promising to improve security. Instead, attacks from militants linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group have intensified in recent months. The JNIM is one of several armed groups operating in the Sahel, a vast strip of semi-arid desert stretching from North Africa to West Africa, where an insurgency is spreading rapidly with large-scale attacks. Burkina Faso's military government says it has arrested 8 members of a Dutch-based humanitarian organization, accusing them of spying and treason. Burkina Faso's security minister, Mahamadou Sanar, said the 8 people arrested worked for the international NGO safety organization in Netherlands-based group specializing in humanitarian safety. According to the minister, the alleged spies include 3 Europeans, a Malian, and 4 Burkinabe, including the NGO's country director and deputy, alleging the staff members had continued working for the organization after it was banned for 3 months for allegedly collecting sensitive data without authorization. He added that the NGO had collected and passed on sensitive security information that could be detrimental to national security and the interests of Burkina Faso to foreign powers. Meanwhile, the International NGO Safety Organization, which provides safety information to aid workers, has categorically denied the allegations. Over in the DRC, a military court has convicted 23 people for collaborating with the Allied Democratic Forces, an armed group affiliated with the Islamic State. The defendants were convicted on charges of participation in an insurrectionary movement, criminal conspiracy, as well as financing and carrying out acts of terrorism. Their sentences ranged from 5 to 20 years of penal servitude. The presiding judge, Lieutenant Colonel Nyembo, said the decision was made in application of Article 7 of the Military Criminal Code, emphasizing the seriousness of the charges and the justice system's determination to deliver a strong message. These convictions target individuals whose involvement in the activities of the Allied Democratic Forces, an armed group affiliated with Islamic State, has been established whether through direct participation in attacks, logistical, or financial support. Although the Eswatini government has received deportees from the United States, residents are yet to come to terms with the decision, fearing for their safety. As a result, demonstrations have erupted as people say the 10 American deportees could worsen crime rates in the country. The demonstrators include the Secretary General of the Eswatini Rural Women's Assembly, which has condemned the move, shared in the opinion that the country's local security systems are not equipped for US-level criminals, justifying that they lack trust in the process and calling for more detail of their arrival. On Monday, the US deported 10 migrants to Manzini as part of an agreement under which Washington sends undocumented migrants who have committed crimes to so-called third countries instead of their countries of origin. In return, Eswatini receives funding to support border control and migration management. And in July, the U.S. deported 5 individuals to Eswatini as the first group under its landmark deal.
The crimes that these people have committed are quite egregious. There's child assault, there's murder, and these are not the kind of visitors that we would like in our country. We're already facing our own crimes that we have to deal with as a country. And I don't know if our local security systems are equipped for US-level criminals. So I think it's justified why there's this lack of trust in the process. We need less vague answers and a more detailed description of why they're here, how this benefits us as a country, and what are the measures, the security measures that are put in place to make sure that everyone is safe, so everyone can calm down.
And still to come on the program. Celebrations still ongoing for Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary as the Nigeria-Britain Association holds an event in London. Welcome back. We're in Sudan now. Thousands of Sudanese refugees who fled the country during an outbreak of civil war and unrest in April of 2023 have returned home, though nothing remains the same. More than 1.5 million Sudanese have been internally displaced since January, according to the International Organization for Migration. For those who have made the difficult decision to go back home, there's a worsening humanitarian crisis on the ground. Many of the returnees have come back with nothing and need financial or other support to get started again. They say it will take time and resources to help the city and themselves get back on their feet again. Here in Nigeria, the Lagos state government says that there is a critical need for collective action to fight against food insecurity. This was made known by the State Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Systems, Abisola Olusoya, during a press conference to announce the week-long activities of the World Food Day celebration. She says the Lagos state government has rolled out transformative programs to enhance food production, reduce post-harvest losses, and strengthen market linkages.
The marketplace is a must-stop to purchase food items that provides essential nutrients, energy for survival, and growth. Making food available and affordable for the people is one of such priorities of the Lagos state government. Several interventions like mid-level agro-produce hubs have been put in place by the current administration to make Lagos food systems more resilient. A message echoed by the State Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Systems during a press conference on the 2025 World Food Day.
Currently, we are at an advanced stage to deliver the phase 1 of the logistics hub at Ketwere in Ekwe. And while efforts are also in top gear to complete 2 additional mid-level produce hubs similar to what is currently in operation at Idioro in Mushin. We have that in Abijo in Ibejuleki and Dairy Farm in Pensinima Agege, which we will be commissioning towards the end of this year.
Speaking on the issue of food prices, the state government confirmed that prices of food are gradually dropping and will be closely monitored to ensure that the reduction is felt by residents.
Not that the price point coming down is still not being felt in the market. It's actually happening. It's not just happening at the rate at which you expect. So if I just look at Mile 12 alone, in the month of September, first week in September, 50 kilo bags of rice on average was 70,000 naira. By week 2 of September, it had dropped to 65, and it has been that way for the last 4 weeks. 1 pint of oloyin beans, which is 3.3 kilos for us. This first week of October, oloyin has dropped to 6,500 from an average price point of 7,000 naira in the month of September, and from an average of 7,300 naira in the month of August. So the price points are dropping. People are not saying it, and so we will continue to monitor, and then we'll continue to ensure that where we can press buttons, knowing fully well that the prices shouldn't be at a specific point, we'll continue to pressurize to ensure that those prices come down as much as possible.
This time last year, rice was going for 100,000 naira per bag. Currently, the rice is hovering, depending on quality, from between 60 and 70,000 naira per bag. Our price, either Eco Rice or Eco Classic, had always been lower than the price in the market of comparable standard and quality. And it's still what we have up to now. Our prices are between 65, 70 at the factory.
This year's theme, Hand in Hand for Better Food and a Better Future, emphasizes the urgent need for partnerships across governments, the private sector, and communities to transform agri-food systems, promote healthy diets, and ensure a food-secure nation for all.
Celebrations are still ongoing for Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary, this time in the UK. Put together by the Nigeria-Britain Association, the celebration had in attendance diplomats, members of the association themselves, and of course friends of Nigeria. Former Commonwealth Secretary General Emeka Anyaoku, who attended the event, said there was still a lot of expectation to be fulfilled in the country. And President of the association, Mr. Shola Oyetayo, praised the resilience of the Nigerian spirit, which has made citizens stand out all over the world.
This marks 65 years of sovereignty, a journey that has been shaped by resilience, fortitude, and remarkable progress. This evening, we're not only commemorating our nation's independence, but also celebrating the enduring partnership between Nigeria and the United Kingdom. A relationship built on shared values and mutual respect, an objective which we hold there in the Nigerian-Britain Association. Nigeria and the United Kingdom share deep ties of history, language, education, and people. But history alone cannot sustain us. The path forward is to build bridges and create the future.
At 65, I want to believe that we haven't quite got where we should be at 55. And I'm hoping very much that we've recently started the journey to the new hope, and that would take us a shade nearer where we want to be.
If you look at Nigeria at 65, in terms of governance, so much changes still required. We still need a lot of improvement in the country. But for Nigerians as people, oh my God, we're making waves worldwide. If you look at Nigerians, the best doctors in the world, the best Afrobeats in the world, the best of engineering in the world, science. I'm a professional myself, working in the bank in the UK here. So we are the best in every field. So Nigerians are great people globally.
And finally on the program, did you know that Africa has the largest number of large animals in the world, including elephants, rhinos, hippos, and giraffes? If you didn't, now you know. That's Network Africa today. Thank you for watching. I'm Joke Rogers.